Hi, this is Colin Masson from ARC Advisory Group. I'm here with Philippe Rambach, Chief AI Officer at Schneider Electric. This is another in our series of podcasts and questions on industrial AI. Welcome, Philippe. Philippe, it's great to talk to you again.
Hi, Colin. Nice being here with you.
All right, I've got another industrial AI related question for you. And this one we kind of touched on when we did a longer format podcast a few months ago. And I've listened to your podcast and you have a lot to say about the misinformation and muddy thinking about there being a paradox and that AI is using up too much energy and water. So I thought it would be a good thing to throw at you and kind of obviously invite people to go and watch your podcast and all the examples you give in terms of what the putting the energy and sustainability cost of AI into some perspective. But maybe you can give us a concise view of that today.
Yeah, maybe what I would say first is, by training, I'm a scientific person, and I love to look at the big numbers. So overall, the world more or less use every year 115,000 terawatt of energy of any kind. Data centers use, according estimation, between 250 to 350 terawatts out of this 120,000. Out of these 200 to 300 terawatt, I don't know, but maybe max 10% is AI, maybe 30 terawatts out of 115,000. So that's first the big numbers people need to have in mind. The second thing that I think also is, of course, that will increase a lot, and that is important, that has an impact. And we have all a role to play to say that first, let's use AI for the right thing. If we use AI to fight climate change, if we use AI to be more efficient, then we're going to use a few terawatt to save a few percentage of 120,000 terawatts. So I'll let you make the math, but it works very, very well. Of course, if we use Gen AI to do deep fakes and so on, we're going to use energy and we will not do anything good for the climate. So the first question would be, why are we using AI? What do we want to do with that? And if we use it to help climate transition, to avoid climate change, to reduce energy needs, it's going to be net positive by a lot. Then the second question is also, how can we secure and make sure that we provide as much green electricity to data centers, how we make them as energy efficient as possible. And then the second side of AI. So for me, there is a side of using AI to optimize everything, to use less energy, be more green, and so on. A bit of investments, but a lot to save. And also making sure that when we operate data centers, we do that in a very efficient way with as much green energy as possible. And as you know, data centers usually use electricity, and there are ways to decarbonate electricity today. So honestly, I think that's something people need to work on, be very careful, be very serious, but it is not a showstopper, very, very clearly.
I think you laid that out really clearly, Philippe. And I love you kind of reminding us that at least for industrial AI use cases where Gen AI is applicable, we really don't have a paradox. But of course, there's lots of other uses of Gen AI, frivolous uses of Gen AI.
Exactly.
Right. But perhaps to wrap this one up, give us your thoughts on where do you see, and it doesn't have to be just Gen AI. I mean, I think we've talked about the fact that Gen AI is just another tool in the industrial AI toolbox of tools and techniques. But where do you see AI having the most positive impact on sustainability?
Yeah, first I want to come back to what you say because I think that's super important. we need to use AI in a responsible way. So, as you said, not only for frivolous things, but also to try to address the biggest challenge of our generation, which is decarbonation and climate change and so on. But we need to use the right tool for the right thing. And Gen AI is great, but it is much more energy consuming than a lot of more traditional AI. And to optimize energy, it's a lot about forecasting, anomaly detection, a lot about optimization. And you can do as good, if not better, than Gen AI with techniques that cost 100 times less in terms of energy. So let's not be obsessed with Gen AI. Let's identify the problem and use the right tool to solve the problem. As a side joke, when I hear people saying, hey, we have been able now to do time series forecast with Gen AI, I say, I'm not sure if it's the good news. Huh? We can do time series forecast with much cheaper ways than Gen AI. So that's a side comment. To your point and to your question, very, very clearly, and that's why probably I work in Schneider. Huh? There are some reasons, but I strongly believe that AI has a massive role to play to help with or to help against climate transition and to help decarbonization and so on. And basically, if I do that very shortly, I see AI playing a key role in 3 domains. The first one is it can help us to use less energy for the same outcome. Use less energy to heat and build and cool our buildings, less energy in our industrial processes. And you know that well, Colin, to optimize something, you need a model. Normally, you build a physical model, but sometimes, or most of the time, it's very expensive, almost impossible to build physical models of everything. With AI, you can build a database model and optimize. So, first big thing is using AI to use less energy for the same outcome. The second big thing is moving to more green electricity. Let's say you are a data center, if we were speaking about that. Let's say that you're a good citizen, so you have installed solar panels, you have installed wind generation, you want to be green. If you use what comes from that, it's great, it's green, but you can do much better because if you forecast with the AI your production of green electricity, if you forecast with AI the consumption of your data center, if the grid itself forecasts what will be the carbon content of electricity in the next 24 hours every 15 minutes, then instead of simply using what you produce, you can be much more clever. And at some point, you're going to say, electricity coming from the grid is totally decarbonated. So I better store what I'm producing for later. Or I'd better sell to the grid to help them decarbonate because I don't need much in my next 24 hours, but they are super carbonated, etc. So you see where I come. So by forecasting and optimizing, you can use first much more green electricity in your mix than if you don't. And second, you can avoid to buy electricity from the grid at peak demand. And at peak demand, it is usually extremely carbonated, plus very expensive. So the good news is, by saving money, by using less energy, and by using more green energy, you are also helping the planet. So that's for me the game changer, and we can really implement that from today. I mean, we do have solutions in our portfolio, other people have that. The key point is we need to start to use AI to optimize our processes to use less energy for the same outcome, and use AI to facilitate the transition to a greener energy and remove some of the peak demand on the electrical grid. So those are the 2 main things. And the third pillar, which I think is probably equally important, is, Colin, let's imagine a world where we have great solution to optimize all our processes and use less energy, great solution using AI to maximize the share of green energy and remove the peak on the grid. If you do that on 5 factories and 10 buildings, you did not move the needle. So you need also to deploy that on thousands of factories, thousands of buildings. And here we need to work on the barrier to adoption, and AI can help a lot. I will share with you something we have shown in another method. AI without automation cannot do anything. You need to be able to act on your process. We have shown in another method an automatic code generation for PLC because we know that our customers do not have enough engineers, and one of the things that slow down automation is lack of engineering. Or even more easier to understand for people which are not in the industrial world like you and I, California is pushing super hard to put solar panels on the roof of every home. What is slowing down the deployment is the lack of electricians, because an electrician needs to come to your home, open your panel and say, yeah, it's fitted or not. We have done an AI tool that takes a picture of your electrical panel and automatically analyze and tells you, yeah, good to go, not good to go. So a long answer to a short question, but definitively the biggest impact for me is optimizing our usage of energy, maximizing the move to green electricity, removing barrier to adoption. All of that AI can play and should play a very, very strong role.
As always, Philippe, I come away from a conversation with you with a much clearer vision of the potential for AI and particularly its impact. And it's great to know that a visionary like you is leading the charge at such an influential company like Schneider Electric with a huge impact on the future of sustainability. So thanks for that comprehensive response there, Philippe.
Thank you, Colin. Let's make sure we're not the only one doing it. It will be a combined effort of many companies to change the world.
100% agreed.